You are now listening to Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio.
What's up, guys? Welcome to Mighty Champions Action Figure Radio. My name is Jon Sargent.
And my name is Christian McGann.
If you guys are interested in action figures, toys, collectibles, you have come to the right place because that's what we do here. We've got an action-packed episode for you guys today. We're taking it back in time. We're going to go to the toy aisles of 2005.
Before we were born.
We're also going to give you guys the stock report of all the major toy lines and toy companies and what's going on in 2025. Are they up? Are they down? Should you hold? What's going on with those? We're going to give you the news. What's going on in the future? So we got like a past, present, future thing that I don't think we did on purpose, but that's what's going to happen. We're always bringing you the Toy Soldier Figure Flashback, which is delivered from you. So stoked on that one. But yeah, before we get into all that sort of stuff, make sure you're subscribed so that you don't miss any episodes. Wherever you're listening to this right now, just hit that little subscribe button, and we need your reviews. So since you're doing tapping, give it a little taparoo on the 5 stars. Helps us grow, helps us turn into a bigger thing. We have ambitions, y'all. We want to do group hunts with you guys where you live. We want to do YouTube videos. We want to take this podcast big, and all we need from you is to take your little index finger and tap that button where there's stars. That's it.
John drives a Ferrari. I drive a Porsche. We're trying to get the Lambos, all right? We're trying to get the Bugattis,
Yeah.
all right? Do us a favor.
Yeah, we're not asking for much here.
Exactly.
All right, before we get into taking a look back at the toy shelves of fall 2005, how's your week been?
Week's been solid, man. Pretty routine, as I say every single time. A lot of baseball work, a lot of real good work in that. School's back in, so I'm not surrounded by 2,000 kids.
God, life is just so much better without kids.
Man, it's crazy.
Said the Adult Toy Podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in there hitting in the cage, and it's just me, and which is nice. Although they have terrible country playing over the top, so I got to get out of that. And I like to have headphones because
it's absolutely brutal.
Yeah, like I like to be focused. I like to hear the crack of the bat, so that's why I don't wear my headphones whenever I'm hitting. But that's been good. I watched 2 movies that I felt inspired by. Told you a little bit about the first one that I watched, which was Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, which is the sequel, which was like 2014. After 2005, I think is when the original came out. I think it's worth the watch. I know you talked about how you hadn't seen it, and I don't know, you had some other kind of potential gripes for why you wouldn't watch it.
I just don't need it. I just think it's inessential. But
so I'm gonna throw a couple of tidbits because I think what I am missing in this day and age of like the comic book movie is like what Sin City and what Watchmen did. They were there, like really hitting the ground running, and I think they did it better than X-Men in the early 2000, because X-Men so
Christian's sacrilegious comment of the week.
All right, everybody, just listen. But if you hear me out,
every week you're gun drawn. Every week you're the meme of the swords to the guy's neck.
When the barbarians are at my gate, But what I'm saying is X-Men desperately ran from doing comic accurate suits. They talked about that. It was the biggest.
I do agree with that.
Yeah, and I think I do love that movie. I mean, that movie I think changed the course of who I am as a person. Mm-hmm. Again, pending the like, I don't know, collectively 30-minute, 45-minute, hour-long conversation between my parents of whether or not they were going to let me watch it because Hugh Jackman says one cuss word basically in the entire movie.
Tell Cyclops,
yeah. So what Watchmen and what Sin City did is that they were like, hey, this is about a comic book. And so we're going to make this as close to a comic book as possible.
Yeah, no, I feel that. Like I said, it could be good, it could be bad. I'll probably never find out. I just don't need.
Yeah, you don't need to. I mean, like I said, there's like a point in A Dame to Kill For that it's like obviously drops off. We're talking about a movie that's 10 plus years old.
20. specifically?
Well, I'm talking the latest one. But yeah, 20 years old, right? But what they did, that hyper stylized comic book accuracy, like I was like, man, I need that. I need that. The same thing when I rewatched Watchmen, it was like, oh man, like we're so lucky and we didn't even know it. And now comic book movies today look like our life with superheroes mixed in with them. And I don't really like that. Like I already lived this
Hopefully
life.
Superman is going to create a trend where that changes.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man Brand New Day kind of looks like it's headed in towards the...
That's true. I mean, I think for me, it's like, I look at it as, you look at Gotham City and then Batman the Animated Series. You don't know when it is. It's like 40s noir, but then like the cops are shooting lasers and like there's very like high tech type stuff. It's out of time. And that's, I think, how, Sin City was. Obviously Watchmen was based in the 80s, but that to me is like what I'm longing for. It's, I think Superman was amazing and it did capture that metropolis feel, but then you have Lex's girlfriend who's like taking selfies, and it was supposed to be representative of like people who exist today in today's age as like an influencer, which is like, please don't remind me of today. Like don't remind me of like the peak problem of today. I want to go to another world. But yeah, I mean, I think it's worth a watch. I mean, part of me was like, I wish we lived in a time where everybody's got inner monologue talking over themselves. You know what I'm saying? I'm in the drive-thru. I'm in the drive-thru again. Fifth day in a row.
I'm at Whataburger.
Exactly. The other thing, and to transport into, a world of fantasy, and unlike the world we live in today, I watched Fire and Ice.
What the hell is that?
I didn't think you would know what that was.
No clue.
So, Fire and Ice is Ralph Bakshi or Ralph Bakshi or whatever. Do you know who that is? Like that.
Still in the dark.
Interesting. Okay, so it is 1983. It was like an animated fantasy movie with.
Okay. Who made it?
I think it's Ralph Bakshi.
Okay,
I think he's the guy who
produced it.
I don't know. I should probably have looked at that, but I just assume you would have at least heard of it. Have you ever heard of like Fritz the Cat or same kind of concept? He did the Lord of the Rings.
Did you do Heavy Metal?
I think Heavy Metal is like in that same vein.
What's it called? Fire and Ice?
Fire and Ice.
And or ampersand?
It's and.
Fire and Ice. Ralph.
Also, congrats on knowing that word.
Ampersand?
Yeah.
I'm highly educated, bro. 1983. It's a magical world you'll never want to leave. It has 3.1 on Letterboxd. And only 24,000 members have seen it. So this is deep, deep, deep cuts. Why did you watch this?
I had seen clips of it, and I really like that dark fantasy type look. I mean, I'm real specific on it. Like, there are certain elements that I could definitely leave behind. It's hot on the heels of, like, Frank Frazetta, right? Mm-hmm. So that kind of Conan the Barbarian type storytelling, where it's, okay.
Sword and sandal stuff.
It is, but it's beautiful. It is, like, there are like pastel painted backgrounds of just this crazy fantasy world that they live in.
First comment on Letterboxd.
It's about the girl. What does it say?
Sometimes a guy just needs to rotoscope like a ton of ass.
Dude, so I was going to bring that up. Because I watched this in front of Samantha, and Samantha was like, why are you watching this? I was like, because it looks beautiful. That of course it's literally, they're like, when they're writing the story, they're like, oh, Princess whatever her name is okay, her outfit, she's just going to be wearing a thong, and that's going to be her outfit for the entirety of the movie. And I can imagine what the script is like, where she's like shot from behind as she crawls through a tunnel of a tree.
1.5 stars. Fire and Ice is a very racist and homophobic endeavor to get through. I mean, that you could read that about absolutely every movie on Letterboxd. But...
Okay, but I didn't get that from any of that movie. I just thought it was like beautiful as far as like.
Have you ever seen Heavy Metal?
No,
dude, you need to watch. You need to watch Heavy Metal.
But what I'm looking at is like that was weird. Like there's no way that movie could exist in today, because essentially they just objectify, obviously. Like
that's what that production company. That's what I was actually looking at.
Yeah,
that's what they do. That's what I mean. It's 1983. It's different times. That's like what they did. Pollock International, Ralph Bosky. Yeah, it's just like independent. It's just totally independent.
Yeah,
wow.
But very like the animation was really, really good. A lot of really good fight scenes. There's like a character, I can't remember what his name is, Deathbringer or something like that, but has like a panther skin over his face, and then he just yields like a battle axe, and it's just like, man. And what I like about it, it was like, oh hey, you know, we send after like these crazy like barbaric type creatures that are trying to like kidnap this princess, and then they just kill hundreds of them, and then it's like, oh, we just happen to fall in the water, and then there just happens to be a giant octopus monster that just lives beneath this, like in some random creek in some dark fantasy forest. And I'm like, I love that, because it's just, I feel like we were like missing out on that type stuff too, where it's like it's just storytelling where it's like, what would be cool right here? It's like, yeah, he kills like a giant squid in the water. You know what I'm saying? But it definitely is a movie that can only survive in that time. And it was definitely just like, man, they couldn't have been more on the nose with certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, now that I look at it, I'm like, oh, that definitely is not your vibe.
No.
Yeah, you're not a Lord of the Rings guy.
I don't. Other than Conan the Barbarian, which I have all of the original books and both of all three of the movies. I love Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because it's Conan the Barbarian. I don't know. I really can't explain it.
Sick.
But I really am just not a sword and sandal guy. Like I appreciate it. If other people want to tell me about it and they're enthusiastic about it, I'll gladly vibe off their enthusiasm. But I'm just.
What if there were swords in Air Jordans? Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's, I'm a Lord of the Rings guy, but I could care less about Harry Potter. Yeah. So I'm very specific in the term of like what type of fantasy.
Dude,
I
honestly,
like.
That's what this podcast is. There's stuff that we are super, super into, and other people are as well. And then there's stuff like Transformers, which I loved when I was like a little kid, and I just kind of didn't bring it with me when I grew up. And other people, that's their main jam.
It's their main thing.
Like,
we haven't even talked about Transformers on here.
We will, but we haven't. Yeah. So it's sword and sandals is just not my thing. But
fair. Well, when the barbarians are at your gate and I show up with a battle axe.
Yeah. I'll have a 50 cal, bro.
Hey, John, can I borrow one of those?
Because guess what's my thing? G.I. Joe.
Yeah, there you go. No, that's good.
Speaking of which, as seems to be the running theme of the podcast, we finish recording. I get jonesing for the stuff that we were talking about. You want to talk about just straight up self-destructive behavior? Yes. I thought to myself, you know what? It's been a really long time since I watched G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra. And I went, I know it's bad. Oh, I just don't remember specifically why.
Okay.
So I'm going to watch it. Let me look it up. Oh, it's not available anywhere. It costs $4 on Amazon. I got $4. Let me rent G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra on a Friday Eve. So last week I watched like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like you and I have talked, that I am cursed with this creativity to see what I think things should be. To the details of what the score sounds like, who should direct it, who should write it, who should be the cast, what is it going to look like, what's the cinematography like, what's the color palette like, what does it sound like, all of that kind of stuff I could see vividly in my head. And I know that if you just took the cartoon and you just had like Macquarie make that into a straight up giant action movie and get Hans Zimmer to score it, I know that would be the greatest thing of all time. But then you watch G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra and you're going, every single person in this cast is the worst casting you could have possibly made. The score is terrible. Everything is CGI and the CGI is terrible. The story is terrible. What are these mech suits? Why is nothing like G.I. Joe? Why did they make a G.I. Joe movie? And they did exactly what you're talking about that X-Men did. They went, we don't like G.I. Joe, so we're not going to make it anything similar to G.I. I don't hate that many movies. I hated that movie. Hated it. Like, I wanted to turn it off. The only reason I didn't turn it off because I paid $4 for it.
God.
And I wanted to know specifically why not to watch it again.
Never seen it. I don't think I'd ever watch it.
Good Lord, don't. Well, here's what was going on was I did remember that Revelation, is that the second one? Revelation. Some early 2000s word that starts with an R that every movie had back in the day.
Yeah.
Rebirth, I have no idea. I remember that the second one is better, like watchable, and that there's like one or two really legitimately good scenes, and that Snake Eyes doesn't have lips on his mask. Yeah, dude, in the first one, Snake Eyes' mask has lips.
Weird.
And my plan was to do a double feature.
Yeah.
I just couldn't do it. I just legit could not do it. I was like, if there's even a 50-50 chance that it's this bad, I can't.
Nah.
I absolutely cannot. Yeah, so that was my viewing week. In toys, I had a really interesting week because first of all, there was Labor Day, which I didn't really have to work that much, so I went on a toy hunt instead.
Okay.
And then I had a bunch of early days this week because my girlfriend was traveling, so I needed to be home with the dog who you guys hear in the background on all these episodes. You can probably hear her right now. So I had a really light work week and a really heavy workout and toy week, like really heavy. So I don't remember which days were which, but I do remember on Labor Day, I went far and wide looking for that Hasbro display. Couldn't find it. I'm not going to the one that you mentioned. It doesn't have anything on it, and you need a gun to go into that Walmart.
Yeah.
So I went to all the other ones, just came up empty again. And then I went to a local toy store on Labor Day, and they were closed. And I sat in the parking lot with like my hands up to myself going, you're a small business that sells toys when everyone else is off of work, and I came here cash in hand looking to buy G.I. Joes. I went there because that's the one thing I can count on them for, and I just found an open sign that wasn't turned on, and I couldn't believe it that they were not open on Labor Day. Legitimately couldn't believe it.
Wow.
So yeah, I ran into that brick wall.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
And then I went around to some other places. I went to GameStop, and destiny from last week came true. I found on the Nintendo Entertainment System Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game.
Wow.
And it was $11.
Insane.
So, yeah, just kind of spoke that into existence, and it is a, like, 10 out of 10 clean copy. It's just the cartridge, but, like, I haven't tested it yet. But,
okay.
like, it looks so clean and so nice. So, super happy to have this in my possession. I also got the 10-inch Green Arrow.
Yeah.
It's based on his name. Got the 10-inch Green Arrow. All I need is Martian Manhunter, who, if you guys recall, if you've been listening to these episodes, I bought that on eBay 2 full weeks ago. And it is in Dallas today.
Okay.
So it's
actually...
It's on the way. It's
Yeah.
just moving at a snail's pace.
Okay.
Then I went around to a bunch of comic book stores this week because it occurred to me, we had kind of talked last week about my G.I. Joe display needing to get punched up a little bit. And we kind of loosely threw out some kind of art or, you know, card backing from a toy or whatever. And I think one of us said comics and we didn't really expand on it. And for whatever reason, that just was ringing in my head. And I had spare time during the week and I was like, why don't I go to a comic store and just look through the back issues, and I could probably find something for like $3 that just has a cool cover.
Yeah.
I don't need it to have. I don't care about the content.
Right.
Let me just like go look for cool covers. So I did find 2 cool covers at Austin Books and Comics, and I think I spent $9 total or something like that.
Okay.
And that's what you see here in my classified display that I just taped to the wall. Put them in bags and boards and taped them to the wall. I'll put up pictures on Instagram for you guys so you can see that. Just really kind of makes the whole display look better. I need one with Cobra Commander though.
Yeah.
I need a Cobra cover that is like just like super cool.
You need Cobra Commander too, right?
I do need Cobra Commander.
Figure?
I want the retro card Cobra Commander. I have to imagine sooner or later they're going to put out one that has the like drapey mask.
Yeah.
The retro card one has the battle helmet.
Okay.
Which is they're equally iconic, but yeah. So I do need Cobra Commander, but now my G.I. Joe classified display looks a little bit better.
Awesome.
Also in comic books, actually today I picked up the first issue of Spider-Man 94.
Okay.
I wasn't planning to.
Okay.
But then I was there and they had it, so I did. And then the variant cover is the Spider-Man retro card action figure, so these are just 2 copies of the same book.
Gotcha.
So yeah, the Spider-Man 94 book, issue 1, out now. Don't know what's going on in the story, but it's supposed to be a continuation of the cartoon.
Yeah, cool.
And then about 60 seconds before you got here, when I crashed out at the local toy store, I went to Amazon.
Okay.
So here's an example of someone cash in hand trying to spend money at a local store and not being able to, so they went to Amazon.
Crazy.
Right? And then these arrived about literally 1 minute before you got here. So I had a gift card I forgot about.
Oh, God.
And
Jesus has gifted you this week.
I tried to use it, and it was about 9 cents over because of tax.
Okay.
And I just figured they would charge the 9 cents to my debit card. They didn't. They canceled it, and then I was messing around, and I don't know, I messed something up. I just ended up buying it with my debit card. So then I still had the gift card, so then I bought another figure. But the first one is your 5th draft pick.
Awesome.
Quick Kick. So I've got the G.I. Joe Classified Quick Kick. He is number 116, just the standard one. The Night Force one with Beachhead is part of that display that's going around.
Gotcha.
So I got just the standard Quick Kick.
Perfect.
Cannot wait to bust this bad boy open and get him displayed. There's nothing more fun to open. When we get to our stock report, we'll talk about the G.I. Joe Classifieds as far as like the quality and the availability and all that sort of stuff. But just when it comes to something to open,
yeah,
nothing beats G.I. Joe Classified.
I mean, we talk about Ross, and Ross gets G.I. Joes, and I was like, I couldn't even stop myself, even though I don't collect them, because it was just like cool looking figure with a bunch of guns. I'm down.
How could you not?
Exactly.
How could you resist that as a man? And then the other thing that I got, I'm actually even more excited than Quick Kick, is the retro card Beachhead.
Oh, so sick.
Which was one of my draft picks.
Yep.
And Beachhead's just like one of my favorites, dude. He's just the best. Beachhead was a lane instructor at Ranger School and an observer advisor at the Covert Ops School in Central America. He's a meticulous, patient, strong-willed, and he doesn't get angry, he gets even.
Ooh.
Yeah. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. So,
awesome.
But yeah, that's what I got through the door this week. Yeah, stacked week.
Great
And then
week.
I'm still waiting on one more 10-inch Justice League figure. And this doesn't pertain to the podcast, but you will be interested. I'm also waiting on Charlie Sheen's biography. Dude, name me somebody who has a more interesting biography than Charlie Sheen.
That would be crazy.
All right, now it is time for the part of the show where we get to hear from you guys, and that is the Toy Soldier Figure Flashback. That's where you, the toy soldiers, send us the stuff that you're enthusiastic about, excited about, the stuff that we're maybe not talking about enough, like Transformers or whatever. It could be Mask, whatever you're interested in. If you think we're underserving it, or if you just loved it when you were a kid and you want to share your story of that Christmas when you opened it, or that time when you were playing with it in a tree, or whatever. If you found a cool stick and you want to talk about it, you can send us a voice message to the email, mightychampionsafr@gmail. You can send us a message on Instagram @mightychampions. However you want to get a hold of us. Voice memos are going to be preferred because then we get to hear your voice, but we will accept messages like what we've got this week from Nick Fowler. He wants to tell you guys about his favorite toys from when he was a kid. He says, growing up in the 90s, my collection was pretty much whatever my local Wal-Mart, Target, KB, etc. carried. Toys R Us was a rare treat, and I can count on one hand how many times my parents took us there growing up because I remember it being expensive. So the idea of having a complete collection of anything was virtually impossible and wasn't even a thought. That said, for my birthday in the 3rd grade, my grandma got me the complete Hasbro Mortal Kombat action figure set. I still remember opening them at her table and being completely blown away by it because I still to this day have no idea how she managed to find them all. So those figures, as bad as they are hands down some of my favorites. Other notable figures and other fandoms, X-Men, Genesis, Double Dragon, Superman, Batman Returns, Power Rangers. But yeah, so there's Nick Fowler's experience with those G.I. Joe-ish Mortal Kombats.
Clutch.
Absolutely clutch, dude. I love that so much. So yeah, you guys can share your stories with us at Mighty Champions or mightychampionsafr@gmail.com.
Ready for a bigger and badder Batmobile. But this time, it transforms into the huge Gotham City playset. With 9 battle action stations. Stop the runaway subway train. With an action zip line, you're ready to do some damage. And with a battle action ball, you can put criminals in their place. Crime never wins when Batman begins. Transforming Gotham City playset. Adults assemble batteries and 5-inch figures not included.
All right, it's a new segment. It's called Toy Aisle Time Capsule. Basically, we're just going to discuss what was going on at a specific year, at a specific time, and what was on the shelves.
Love it.
I chose this time period specifically because I wanted to chat with you about your stomping grounds of 2005. 20 years ago from right now, fall specifically, 2005. What were you up to in fall of 2005?
I know Batman Begins came out in 2005.
What were you up to in fall of 2005?
I know Batman Begins. Yeah. I mean, fall of 2005. Let's see, how old was I? So that was 20 years ago, right? So 12-ish, maybe something like that. Oh, heyday, baby. Heyday. I don't remember. No, I mean, that was my stomping grounds, man. Like, you know, this is a little bit of maybe I shouldn't put this out there, the fact that I was homeschooled up until my sophomore year.
The people need to know why you are the way that you are.
You know what? It was just built by being homeschooled, but I managed to make it out and, you know, put together any kind of social life that I had by going to high school in my sophomore year and then finishing out. So, but yeah, that's what I was up to, man. Being homeschooled. So
just to kind of bring you guys back to fall of 2005, We Belong Together by Mariah Carey was dominating the airwaves. So was Holla Back Girl.
Wild.
Was a major song. The movies at the time, Pride and Prejudice, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, The Chronicles of Narnia, Fantastic Four, Madagascar, Corpse Bride, Harry Potter, and The Goblet of Fire.
Okay.
So that's kind of
The Office also.
TV shows that launched, The Office, Lost.
Okay.
Desperate Housewives, Veronica Mars.
Okay.
Yeah, so, man, we didn't know how good we had it.
Exactly.
We didn't know how good we had it. In the toy world, Toys R Us was basically holding on by a thread. They were still doing exclusives. They still had like a little bit of clout, but things weren't looking good for Toys R Us. KB Toys was in full-blown decline. They were doing, you know, buy one, get one bins and clearance and all that kind of stuff, but just trying to grasp at straws.
If I had a time machine.
Yeah, right. Adult collectors were beginning to take over.
Ooh, this is hot on the heels of Revenge of the Sith.
We're going to get there.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
so like you've got the adult collectors coming in, and things like Revenge of the Sith are kind of the reason why, because you had the adults who had lived off the original trilogy who are now trying to invest in things, right? Because their childhood thing had blown up. So Marvel Legends and McFarlane and Star Wars are now kind of aimed at those guys. The online forums are starting to take off, like Fwoosh, Toy Arc, and Rebel Scum. You have Big Bad Toy Store and Entertainment Earth are getting established, and Ringside Collectibles is getting their feet on the ground. eBay is a monster now and then. It never hasn't been a monster, but it was having, that was kind of when people figured out the 30-year itch and things like that, was like right around that time period.
Kind of works.
Okay, now we can start going through the major things on the shelf.
Dude, I feel like I'm gonna get real itchy listening to some of this.
I think you are. That's why I wanted.
I got the chills. I'm shaking.
So let's start with Hasbro.
Okay.
You already mentioned it. Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
Where are you at with Star Wars at the time?
100% completely bought in. I'd say it, and I'll say it now.
On the toys or just the movie?
The movies and the toys.
You were into the big, like, those
My Star Wars?
giant bubble toys?
My Star Wars, episode 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And the prequels. I love them. I think they're the best ones.
Okay.
And I'll live by that.
So I wasn't in on the toys.
Okay.
I just never have been on Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
But here's my story with Star Wars in general. When I was a kid, I didn't like Star Wars because I didn't like Star Wars fans.
Okay.
I just found them obnoxious. And I didn't want to be one of those nerd kids who likes Star Wars. I wasn't like a jock. I could kind of hang out with anybody, but I just didn't like the Star Wars kids.
Okay.
It's 2005, fall. I have swine flu, which is going around at the time.
God, I forgot about that.
I'm in bed wondering if I'm going to die.
Okay.
And the trailer for Star Wars Revenge of the Sith comes on TV. And I go, that looks like the sickest movie ever made.
Yep.
And I go, I'm in bed. Let me power through all the existing Star Wars movies. Turned me into a massive fan right then. Like, spent a good period of time up until about a year ago just obsessed with all things Star Wars.
Yeah.
Because of Revenge of the Sith. I don't think those original trilogy movies they don't like hold up. But they do add to the story. The toys, on the other hand, they're living a weird space. They're like, you're gonna find them in pretty much every vintage store, but nobody's really hunting them.
They're not. They're $10. I plan at some point. That's like, I would say it's not necessarily an on deck collection. It's kind of like, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Because like an Obi-Wan, an Anakin, and then I had General Grievous back in the day, which came with he has 4 arms, I guess. 4 lightsabers, which is, that's a hot commodity.
It's those original trilogies, so many cool characters, so many cool moments, such a great story in general. Just kind of tough to, like, they just don't really hold up. It's kind of weird.
I went to the premiere the day of.
Nice.
And there was I went with like a group of people, and one of the guys there, he was way older, obviously. He was probably like in his late 20s, maybe even 30s at that point. And I'm not. And I remember them saying that he was like a massive Star Wars fan. And when we were watching the movie, the part where Mace Windu dies...
Spoilers.
Spoiler. Gets thrown out the window by Anakin. I look over, and he's got a tear rolling down his eye. And I was like, wow. That's crazy. and then they surprised him afterwards with a lightsaber that was like $120 lightsaber made out of glass or whatever. And he lights it up in the parking lot. And of course, like everything in his power is trying not to like yield it and wield it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm chomping at the bit just to hold it or whatever. And then this guy comes over and he's like, man, that's a cool looking lightsaber, man. And then the kid is like freaking out about it, the guy's kid. And then he's like, oh, you want to hold it? And he holds the lightsaber, he turns it on, and then he smashes it on the ground. Didn't break, though. And, oh my God. He was like, whoa, sorry about that, man. How much is that? Like $50? They're like, it's $130 or something. And then he was like, yeah, you need to get that back to him right now.
That's a perfect example of the child's toy and the adult collector's item are colliding right there, and the two parties are not interested in the other and nobody really knows how to differentiate one from the other.
The same guy, in fact, I'm like unlocking these weird like memories, but the dude was like a super nerd, and he was the definition of like the comic book guy, like the way that you would stereotype.
He's the reason I wasn't into Star Wars.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I remember one time it was right around the same time where Pirates of the Caribbean came out, and he was like, "Oh, it was a great movie." He's like, "Yeah, you know, the main character, Johnny Depp's character, they did a great job with him, and I loved his name, Captain Jack Black." And somebody was like, "Wait, what's his name?" And he's like, "Yeah, Captain Jack Black. I thought that was real cool." I was like, "You're telling me that you watched the entire movie, loved it, and you walked away and you said his name is Captain Jack Black? How do you go an entire movie and not?"
His name is said 437,000 times in that movie.
I still question it to this day.
Other stuff that was on the shelves from Hasbro: Transformers Cybertron.
Okay.
So I've had a couple people reach out to me and they're like, "Yo, Transformers Cybertron." Wasn't on my radar at all. Like I said, I loved the OG Transformers when I was a kid. I just didn't really bring it with me.
Okay.
And
This was before Michael Bay too, I think.
Yeah, I think it is. And then also G.I. Joe Sigma 6.
Okay, I've seen that name in passing.
You weren't into Sigma 6 like when you're like 12?
Nope.
Yeah, because they're 8-inch anime style figures. I want to say there's a G.I. Joe 2-pack with Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow that had a DVD in it, and I remember being obsessed with that DVD, and it was like something that was like an impulse purchase when I wasn't even collecting at the time, and it might have been from Sigma 6.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure. Mattel has got on the shelves. This stuff is going to interest you.
I love it.
Masters of the Universe 2000 is like kind of winding down at the time. The like reboot of Masters of the Universe, where like the merchandise lasted longer than the show did, and I thought that show was awesome. I thought the merchandise was awesome.
Never knew it was a thing.
It just didn't capture anybody's attention but mine.
What did it air on?
I think it was like an Adult Swim thing.
Okay.
I think, or like Cartoon Network.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah,
like
it was like just an updated animation style of like they were trying to do the thing that they do. It was X-Men 97.
Okay.
It was like just let's just continue this. The other thing on the shelves for Mattel, Justice League Unlimited, which I inadvertently have begun collecting since we started this podcast. Like that, you couldn't go anywhere without seeing those 3-packs.
Gorgeous.
Those 3-packs are just like, and they still do something to me.
Absolutely.
You just see them and you're like, that I like it. It makes me happy. And the Batman Begins movie line that Mattel was producing. Another one of those things where Batman Begins is like on my list of favorite movies. Follow me on Letterboxd if you care to see where it's positioned. But nobody cares about those toys.
Yeah.
We all love that movie, or at least like if you have any sense, you should love that movie. But nobody cares about the toys. Like, other than Batman himself, which is, I think McFarlane just put one out, and I saw Mezco, and like it might come up in the news today. That look, that suit, that trilogy, but like it didn't really create a world that lends itself to toys that people care about, which is kind of weird. But yeah,
I have one. I have a Batman Begins toy that is silver with an orange bat symbol on his chest, and I loved it back then.
Nice. Jakks Pacific is putting out wrestling figures like this world has never seen before. They got their Ruthless Aggression figures and the Titantrons and the like pay-per-view specifics. Some of them are great, others are just complete and utter booty cheeks.
But the card is like, those are amazing looking, right?
Some of them. I think what you're thinking of is the Classic Superstars.
Maybe like
which is at the exact same time. Jakks is putting out the Classic Superstars. And I will second Matt Cardona in saying that the Classic Superstars line changed the entire wrestling business, where nostalgia became profitable.
Okay.
There was no Legends deal. There was no getting paid to be an ambassador, be a legend. There was no, we're going to make figures of you even though you retired 20 years ago, until the Classic Superstars line. And that black and gold box, it just really, really means something to me. It is absolutely a on-deck collection for me in the future. It's just very, very expensive. I was not buying figures in 2005. I was 22, and I was broke, and it just wasn't part of my life. I was buying the classic Superstars because I was physically compelled to do so. And I was air quotes, investing in them. Folks, don't invest in action figures. It's not wise. And I toted around a box filled with classic Superstars that I was intending to make money off of for about 15 years. I sold them to move here to Texas.
Wow.
I didn't really make that much on them because, unbeknownst to me, the Major Wrestling Figure podcast during COVID was talking about that line and growing its profile and blew it out of the water, the nostalgia, and they became valuable almost the moment that I had already sold them. After I toted them around for like 15 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Sisyphus of the action figure world. It's just you pushing the Walmart logo up the hill and it rolls back down every time.
McFarlane had, we all,
gruesome stuff, right?
yeah. They had like the movie Maniacs,
Okay.
and they had the sports ones that you'll see at every vintage store that nobody really buys or cares about. No, I don't have any. Actually, yeah, Barry Bonds behind you. That's a McFarlane sports one.
Oh, okay.
They were doing the Simpsons line from Playmates was out, which they just the Simpsons has a similar issue to Star Wars. How could you possibly be a completist? Like,
Right.
How could you possibly do it? No one can do that. I don't care who you are. So that line you also see heavy at vintage stores nowadays. Now we're getting into your wheelhouse, buddy boy. Toy Biz.
Oh my God.
2005 Toy Biz. They've got the X-Men Classics.
Oh God.
They've got the Fantastic Four movie.
Oh man.
Were you into the Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah, there was a point where I was planning to get the Thing, and then I don't know, something just steered me a different direction. I don't know, and I look back at them now and I'm like, I made the right call because I don't need those. I don't need them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
They've also got the Marvel Legends, and that's gonna get brought up on every episode because it's your
That's my
bread
wheelhouse.
and butter. That's your wheelhouse. That's your main B. Yeah, and like I think you're first in line to begin the hype train that's going to become a huge nostalgia monster, and the prices on those are going to skyrocket. So you need to be pulling the trigger on.
Edit this part out so nobody hears that.
You need to be buying at least one a week.
I know.
You need to be like collecting those, because if you dilly dally, man.
You know,
If our listeners start reviewing the podcast and our podcast blows up and you're talking about them, then people are going to start buying them. You need to get ahead of that.
I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm almost at a point where maybe not. There's more to go.
What?
I thought I was like, maybe I was almost done with some of them, but
you're
then
not
I'm thinking about it.
close.
I'm like, yeah, you're not.
You're not
yeah.
even. You haven't even completed the Galactus Build-A-Figure.
Yeah, you're right. But I will say I'm not a completist. There are
For sure.
toys of that I'm like I can leave behind that
Yeah,
I don't need.
for sure.
I don't need X-23. I don't need Sentry, like those
Yeah.
types of. But anyway, continue.
We've also got the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2003 reboot is still on the shelves.
Okay.
Man, I was watching. I think honestly, that's the best Ninja Turtle show. As much as the original one is like part of my DNA. Since I've been watching so much G.I. Joe: Real American Hero, and I was just kind of thinking about like the adult rewatchability of those old shows, TMNT's pretty low. I'll be honest. Hands up. It's hard to get through an episode of the OG show as an adult. The 2003 Ninja Turtles, you could sit me down with a beverage and let me just binge that whole series. It's legitimately good.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
And they're the Ultimates that just came out
Okay.
not too long ago. That's what that's based on. Awesome character designs. To be honest, I don't remember these figures. I don't remember these Playmates figures like directly correlated with the show. Because like I said, I just wasn't looking at figures in 2005 other than the WWE Classic Superstars. And then from Bandai, last but not leastly, Power Rangers SPD. So yo, you got a look on your face.
I know. I'm like, wait a minute.
Is that the one?
No.
Is that the one?
Let me just see really quick here, because
I feel like Power Rangers have never spent a day not being relevant. Like, there's always a kid who's discovering Power Rangers for the first time.
Man.
Did you watch SPD?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you didn't watch it at all, huh?
No, I told you.
Yeah,
I said,
right.
yeah, like, but that is so sick looking.
So those are the toys.
Space Patrol.
Those are the toys that were on the shelf. And other media tie-ins, Revenge of the Sith also had Burger King kids toy meals.
Man,
Were you getting those?
I had the X-Men Evolution Burger King toys. Those are the only ones I got. I actually didn't know that they were doing Revenge of the Sith at the time.
Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon Advanced, and Naruto all debuted September of that year also.
Wow.
So
3 terrible shows. I'm gonna get some bad. I'm gonna get some death threats for that one.
yeah. So some of the hidden gems and underrated releases: Star Wars Evolution Packs trilogy spanning figure sets with great sculpts.
Okay,
So the
I
Evolution
do remember
packs.
that.
The Toy Biz Ghost Rider is evidently like the one. The Toy Biz Ghost Rider is like the hot.
Yeah, that one's
thing.
expensive.
And then the G.I. Joe Sigma 6 Dragon Hawk, which is like a drop ship vehicle. That's like the most sought after G.I. Joe Sigma 6.
Man, that's so niche. It's weird that I'm like, I remember the toy aisle so specifically, but I will say there was like a point where I just stopped walking down it, and I'm almost positive that probably was beyond the horizon.
You just didn't take 2 extra steps to get that far.
I'm telling you, the Marvel Legends were just right there where you needed them.
Yeah. Get at us at Mighty Champions. Give us your memories of the toy aisle in 2005.
Yeah, I'm starting to think, I'm like, man, we should try some other years out. Maybe like the years of our birth, something like that. See what was on the shelf at that time.
Well, dude, this is endless. There'll
endless.
always be a specific year for a reason that we can just go back in time to. But yeah, that's fun. But let us know what you were doing in 2005. Let's do the news.
Well, LexCorp's going down. Whether it's me or Superman, who does it?
If it's Superman, that makes it news, and I'll be happy to print it.
All right, the figure news. Pretty stacked this week. Let's start things off with Ninja Turtles, shall we? We have got up on Amazon right now from Playmates, you can order the TMNT sewer layer, which is freaking amazing. Like the playset sewer layer,
Awesome.
which is the basis of the box for the 6-pack that just came out.
Oh, okay.
Is based on the sewer layer.
Awesome.
So if you have both of those things, you are sitting pretty. They also put up on the Target app, I think it's part of the Geek Out thing from NECA, the Last Ronin Ghost Brothers 3-pack, which is, I don't want to spoil the Last Ronin story for you guys. If you haven't read it, you should absolutely read it. One of the turtles is alive, the other 3 are dead. This is figures of the 3 that are dead, the ghosts of them. And the NECA does a great job with the turtles. Also from the turtles, from NECA, is the September 16th. You're going to be able to pre-order the figures based on the 2012 show, which is a great show also. There are so few Turtles renditions that are bad. They're all watchable, I think. So that's the Turtle news. In other Geek Out news, I kind of told you guys last week, I don't even know what the Target Geek Out is. I don't get it. So I'm seeing on here for week 2 that they're going to do Thundercats pre-orders. So you can get the Super 7, Lion-O, and Snarf. I could have sworn these were already out. I could be wrong. Maybe they redid them because the first wave was so bad.
There you go.
But if you're trying to get those Super 7 Thundercats, and maybe they did redo them because this Lion-O looks like it actually has some color to it. It isn't like pale. So maybe they did just redo them.
I saw a glitch on Toy Shiz Instagram last night where on the Target app it was like $32,000.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I commented on it and I said in today's toy market, it'll still sell out.
Yeah. That's funny.
They'll still do it. Okay, let's move over to Marvel Legends. They are going to do a live stream on Tuesday the 9th. So we'll definitely cover that, but you guys should watch it as well. And there are some like early pre-orders on the Walmart app that are probably the things that are going to be announced on that live stream. If you don't want spoilers, skip ahead about 30 seconds. I do have the spoilers here for who it's going to be, and it's going to be another one of the comic book waves.
Okay.
It's going to have Farrell from X-Force, Rachel Summers from Excalibur, Daredevil from Shadowland, Beast from Astonishing X-Men, Yelena Belova as Black Widow, and a Silver Surfer.
Okay.
And that's going to be in the miniature comic book wave.
Beast I can get behind.
Yeah.
The Daredevil I was kind of fired up on, and then it was like not Daredevil in this red suit that you need, right?
Yeah. Yes, I do.
And then maybe the Silver Surfer, maybe. We'll see.
If it's just a standard Silver Surfer, it has to be way different than the Silver Surfer I just got.
Yeah.
They also announced, let me see if this is available yet or not. I don't think it's available yet, but keep an eye on it. They just showed off the Super Skrull, which,
saw that, yeah.
Super Skrull is not part of my checklist. This figure is awesome. I might actually consider it just for my Fantastic Four shelf because it just looks amazing. Like,
cool.
It looks so well done. It's one of those like just releases by itself where the box kind of has the card look to it, like collector card.
Mm-hmm.
I just love those boxes. They also showed off, it's up on Amazon right now, and it is made by Titan Heroes, the Galactus. This is the same company that made this Sentinel.
Cool.
So the scale of Galactus should be significantly bigger than a Sentinel.
Yeah.
But if you just want a tall Galactus to put with your Marvel Legends, it's pretty nice to have that like 14-inch height Galactus with your 6-inch Marvel Legends.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah. So that is available. They also, I think this is something that wasn't released and isn't going to be released, but Titan Heroes also had a Fantastic Car, and somehow there's photos of it available that's like the Fantastic Car from the movie with the thing in the like 3 3/4 inch scale.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't think it's coming out though, which is weird. But there is a set with all 4 of the Fantastic Four, Herbie, and the baby that is coming out. So yeah, you can pre-order that. And then they showed off the Emperor Doom, which is also a single release Marvel Legends. It's up on Amazon right now, or at least it was at the time of seeing this post. So if you need that Emperor Doom, go over to Amazon or probably Pulse, and you guys can pre-order those. In wrestling, not a heck of a lot of news. They showed off Wave 3 of the Street Fighter crossover with Yokozuna as E Honda, Dominic Mysterio as Ken, and the Ultimate Warrior Blanca Player 2. So the first wave is not even out yet, so I don't know why we're talking about Wave 3, but here we are. That's today's market. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up is the Bandai Metal Gear Rex. I am obsessed with the Metal Gear franchise. It is $360. So go to Amazon, type in Metal Gear Solid Shogun Rex, and then put in your credit card information and my address, and then just buy that and send it to me. That would be much appreciated.
That's crazy.
Did you have any new stuff you needed to talk about?
The only one that I would look at is, I think we talked about it a little bit last week, which is the Hasbro Pulse Star Wars gunship.
Yes. What's the update on that?
All right. So 3 days, 6 hours, 0 minutes, 18 seconds left. And all 3 tiers are still unlocked. There's 5,329 backers, and the target is 8,000. So I can almost confidently say, probably not going to happen.
Man.
And a lot of people are going to get their $450 back. So congrats to y'all.
What were they thinking? $450 for it's an addition to we're about to transition over to the stock report. Actually, you know what?
This is perfect segue.
Let's just hold on to that until we get to the stock report. All right, here we go.
Hey everyone, I'm here celebrating the release of my new movie, Superman. And what better way to do it than by seeing the cast as a collectible? I mean, this is actually pretty crazy. Thanks to McFarlane Toys, all of you can collect these pieces and see for yourselves. And here to tell you a little bit more about what goes into making figures like this is my friend and legendary comic book artist, Todd McFarlane. Todd, take it away.
Hey, thanks, James. Look, we just want to thank you, the good people at Warner Brothers and DC folks, for letting us come out to the set so that we can make our toys as authentic as possible. We were able to talk to the prop people, the costume people, the special effects people, and obviously get close up to the actors so that we can make it as authentic as possible. The figures are going to be out before the movie comes, so there's going to be them in the stores. You're going to be able to do some pre-orders. But overall, we're all looking forward to your movie, James. July 11th, theaters everywhere. Let's do it.
All right, we're going to do the 2025 toy stock report. Basically, we're going to go through the manufacturers and the lines, and we're just going to discuss the health of it. You know what I mean? Is it up? Is it down? Would you buy? Would you hold? We're not going to do the talk show thing and put, a game show thing to this, but we're just going to kind of talk about it kind of long form. So why don't we start with Hasbro, and why don't we start with the Star Wars Black Series? Where are you at with that? Not your interest in it personally.
Yes.
Where do you think it is today?
Doing some research. I think Black Series, from what I was reading, is probably the only thing that is working with the Star Wars line. I don't really follow it too much. Like you said, how does one even get into this game? Because there's just like millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of them. But yeah, I mean, from what I read is that I guess that might be profitable for them, but I don't know.
So we have a store here in Austin that's called Holocron. If you are into Star Wars collecting, and I mean absolute toys, lightsabers, helmets, Legos, I don't care what it is. There's a store that's the size of a Ross, and there's not a single thing in there that is not Star Wars themed. It's a Star Wars collector store that is enormous.
Full of toys and
it's
everything.
Disneyland to you if you're a Star Wars guy. And I had a moment, you might remember this, where I just was itchy because...
Go back and watch the video. It's on your YouTube, right?
Yeah, it's on my YouTube. You could go to Mighty Champions and just type in Holocron. You can see the store that I'm talking about on the YouTube channel. And I had decided, you know what? I love Star Wars. I should be having a Star Wars collection. I'm going to start collecting Star Wars Black Series. I made it about 2 figures in. And then I just pulled the ripcord because I came to the conclusion, rather I didn't come to a conclusion, which Han Solo, which Luke Skywalker, which Leia. If it's this Han Solo, then everyone has to have the look from that scene or movie. Well, maybe that's not the Luke that I want. Okay, well now I'm in this loop that I don't want to be in, and I quit. And that's with like a couple of characters. So... for me, for the way that I collect, I was like, I'm out. I think if you're somebody who has a room that looks like this and there's nothing in it but Star Wars, the Black Series is your best friend.
Yeah. I think I would have bought it back then.
Yeah, for those of us who are not like that, it's tough. And you can kind of tell, I'm going to say that the health of it is not good. And here's my purview of it is that Target took it and moved it to a completely different section that's in the baby stuff. They just went, this lives over here. It never moves. They never gain anything, and they never seem to sell anything. And that's at Target, man,
Yeah.
where stuff comes and goes rapid fire.
It's actually kind of fascinating because the Disney section, I think is what you're referring to.
Yeah.
You would think that there would be almost a higher level of traffic there because of like how popular Disney is and the amount of kids that go through there. That
Yeah,
think
but
themselves.
it's not the like little kid stuff. And it's not where you and I are looking.
It's It's not aimed at the adult collector.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So my point with the drop ship is you have a $450 item that's meant to serve a line that is kind of flatlined.
Mm-hmm.
It just never had a chance. It never was going to take off.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's something that I also was kind of reading about. That it was basically like an at-risk line where it was like profitable, but and I think we've seen it already. People being like, I think if I'm getting rid of a line, I'm offloading Star Wars Black Series. So yeah, I would agree with you.
We got a lot of lines to get through here. So Marvel Legends. I'm gonna start this off with the Marvel Legends because I collect them harder. You really don't collect the modern ones at all. It's a really weird thing to try to evaluate. They put out so much stuff. Let me put it like this. Hasbro is doing a good job. They're making great figures with great boxes. The pricing is what it has to be in today's climate. I don't like it, but I don't necessarily put blame on them for it. Just your normal line of figures. When it's a Pulse exclusive or when it's larger or it's a deluxe or it's the Maximum series, they are trying to gouge people. But I'm talking about just like, the new wave of 6. Those are the price that they have to be in today's climate.
$24 or whatever it is.
It's probably about to go up to like 26, but the problem is that they give Target and Walmart exclusives, and it's making the joy of toy hunting and toy buying not joyful. Anytime Walmart is involved, you just made a joke about it. It's not fun, and it's not Hasbro's fault. It's not Marvel Legends' fault. I'm still gonna keep buying Marvel Legends. Like I love this line so much, but they've got to figure out a way to do what Mattel just did and basically take the authority that Walmart has away from them and go, we're going to sell this ourselves because you guys are doing a god-awful job of this. The amount of people that are pounding their head against the wall to get J. Jonah Jameson right now, which is a freaking re-release from 5 years ago, how is that possible?
At the Walmart that I mentioned that has the display setup, there's a J. Jonah Jameson like peg, and it's just completely empty. There's 2 of them actually.
Yeah. It just shouldn't be the case.
Yeah,
it just shouldn't be the case. But that's where I'm at with Marvel Legends. Also in Hasbro, G.I. Joe Classified, maybe the strongest toy line going.
Okay.
I would say that they don't overproduce, they don't underproduce. They don't really have much stuff that you're like, that's going to end up at Ross. They're not too easy to find. They're not too hard to find.
They're usually plentiful.
Yeah.
Like if you go into Walmart right now, you're gonna see G.I. Joe. You're gonna see the retro card too.
Yeah.
Like
the aftermarket is not insane. Like this retro card Beachhead is like a year old, and it's not. I didn't have to go to eBay and pay 40% over, retail for it. I just went to Amazon. And I think one of these 2 was on sale. I can't remember which. I think G.I. Joe Classified probably has the strongest line right now. And the figures are, find me a better figure at that price range. I don't think you can do it. I agree with that. Genuinely don't think you can find better figures. Transformers, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know enough about what's going on with it to really make a comment on it. I can tell you that I don't see online any conversation about it. About the current day Transformers, at all. I don't see anyone commenting on it. I'll see Toy Shiz or whoever be like, this is coming out, and it doesn't look like it's really getting any traction. I think the overwhelming majority of Transformers fanhood is vintage, is retro. Even the new stuff that is mimicking the vintage and retro doesn't seem to go anywhere. That giant transforming Optimus Prime where you press the button and he moves, still just sitting at Target. It's kind of weird.
I've seen one time because I always wondered going to the toy aisle. I was always the only one in there. And then I was like, how come I don't run into other people who collect toys here? And then it started to happen where there were older guys and we kind of look at each other and pass each other and do the dogs in The Simpsons, the little eyes. And I remember specifically seeing two older dudes, probably like, I don't know, late 40s. They're in there like digging for Transformers. And I stopped and was kind of shook because I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, this is real. Like, these people are actually out here. And they were looking for something. I think they found it too. Because like one of them like grabbed it and was like, oh my God. And they went and like price checked and stuff like that. I was looking under the shelves, digging for gold, and I only found trash. But and I don't know, I didn't really pay attention to what kind it was. It may have been like the retro. I know they just put out like those little retro ones that are like throwbacks to like what the old carding used to look like.
Maybe in other places they're flying off the shelves. It seems like in our area, it's the exact same product that was there the day that they landed.
And I can tell you, like, I like, you know, we'll talk about Transformers sometime in detail, but I like the way, like, the G1,
I love it.
Yeah.
So Sunbow made the Transformers cartoon, which they also made G.I. Joe Real American Hero. They also made Spider-Man. They also made RoboCop. They also made the one X-Men episode. I love that. You kind of mentioned, it's like one voice actor. That voice actor is across Transformers and all of these other things. Same people did the music. Same people did the animation. That vibe is like part of who I am. I love it. For whatever reason, I didn't go along with Transformers when it changed from that.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I just, you know, the way that the like, and I could be wrong on whatever line it is right now, but man, like the box I'm like, God, it's just too much. It looks like something that would be like in a Hello Kitty store, like just bright and pink and neon green, and you're just like, what is going on here? It looks like a dog threw up.
Okay, let's rapid fire through some of the smaller companies. Super 7. They've got their Ultimates.
Okay.
So just kind of across the board, TMNT, Silverhawks, Thundercats, G.I. Joe. To be honest with you, man, if I was like a buy, sell, or hold, I would hold on Super 7 in general because they were about to go out of business about a year ago. But on the Ultimates specifically, because some of them are fantastic and other ones look terrible. And like I said last week, I'm cutting my G.I. Joe Real American Hero Super 7 Ultimates because they're just not that good. Mm-hmm. And there's wave after wave after wave that was already into production that I think nobody's really buying. You see them on Big Bad Toy Store on sale like constantly. So I don't think that's going real well. The reaction figures, I can't tell because I see them everywhere. I went on a little toy hunt earlier this week and I discovered like a local place here. I forget the name of it. It's on the YouTube, or sorry, not YouTube, the Instagram. And they had a ton of reaction figures, and I think the reaction figures are really cool. I just don't know anybody that's buying them. I've never encountered somebody that's like, I'm buying all these reaction figures. So they're producing cool little 3 3/4 inch figures that look good on card, but they kind of seem like a souvenir tchotchke. Because there's like stuff like, you know, replicating G.I. Joe, but there's also stuff like, oh, here's a Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead. Why? Motorhead's probably my second or third favorite band ever. Do I need figures of them? Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't, there's no crossover. It doesn't make any sense. So that's a tough one. Super 7 in general to me feels like they are teetering is kind of where I'm at with them. This one you and I will probably have a little lengthier conversation about because we actually started one standing in a Target earlier this week. NECA. So let's start with, we'll go kind of reverse order from what I have here. The Toonie Terrors and Toonie Classics. I think Toonie Terrors are cool. I think 11 months out of the year, no one cares. I'm about to start buying them because I have a display. You guys will see tons and tons and tons of stuff on the social media about my horror display that goes up in October, and it's comprised mostly of the Toonie Terrors, which I think they're really cool. But again, I see them sitting on the shelf year round. No one's jonesing for those until October comes around.
You know, I think about someone like my sister who loves all things horror, has a horror podcast, and watches horror, like all about that, and kind of buys like horror tchotchke type things. And I think that's like her vibe, which is like almost like the non-collector, where it's like, oh, this is cool. I love this character. Like I want that. So I envision more people who are just happening to stroll through the collector spot in the electronics in Target, and they see Beetlejuice, and then they buy it, and then they like, you know, they probably just keep it in the box or whatever, just because it goes on their other Beetlejuice like cups and stuff, you know.
Yeah,
that's kind of what I envision.
They're like 12 to $15. They kind of have that cartoon look to them, as much as the idea. So like, yeah, that is kind of who I think they kind of appeal to.
Because horror is
huge.
It's huge.
So that leads us to the Ultimates, the NECA Ultimates. We've brought them up several times before. You and I went into a Target the other day. They no longer, at this specific Target, they no longer had them on the shelf in the Geek Out display. They had their own stand off to the side, and it was legitimately covered in Ultimates from top to bottom. Putting my business hat on, that's not a good thing. They weren't covered on the shelf because demand is high. They were covered on the shelf because no one's bought them.
Yeah.
They have not been purchased. I think the NECA Ultimates are some of the most quality figures ever to exist. And I think that, and I'm a huge horror fan. I love the Predator. I love Terminator and RoboCop and Silence of the Lambs and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street and, you know, Friday the 13th and all these things that they produce. I don't have those collections, and I think like what you're talking about, I don't think that many people do.
Yeah.
I think people love those properties. I go to a lot of Targets and Walmarts. Like every time I travel all around here, and I see that same scenario where there's tons and tons and tons and tons of Ultimates just sitting there. And it's the same ones that have been there for years. And I think it's partly to do with, I don't think there's that many horror collectors, because people, you know, you go over to somebody's house and they have a big horror collection, you make a determination about that person. And I'm saying that as a horror fan. I'm not judging. But I also don't put out my horror stuff because I don't want people looking at me like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's a mark against it. And then, like we've talked about before, the box. Most collectors, like you, me, and anybody listening to this, is a collector. You can't display them in box. Like, it just can't be done. It's just a box.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, they give off almost a similar vibe of statues.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, even though they're not,
They
might as well be, because they're so big and they're so detailed, and they're just in a box.
Again, I picture my sister, or, you know, another friend that I know that loves horror, walking through there and seeing Ash versus Evil Dead or whatever, like the movie is called, and then them being like, oh my god, I love this, and then just buying it because it's almost just like decor rather than it being like a love for action figures.
Yeah, I think horror just fits into this kind of weird space. The other thing that NECA has is the TMNT lines. So they've got the Mirage line of like comic kind of stuff, and IDW, which I think they do an amazing job with, and I do see a lot of people collecting those. And they also have the like cartoon. They look like the 80s cartoon, which like I'm so jealous that I'm late to the game on those. If I would have got in from the beginning, you'd see a huge display. I like every time I go into a store and they're selling those, I think they're just like the coolest thing in the world.
Nick Fowler, who did the figure flashback today, I think he collects those.
Yeah, I think he sent me a video on those. Like, that hits me like right in the nostalgia. And the people, there's probably not a lot of figures that we've talked about or will talk about that have a bigger demand to like a supply that's like if you don't get on it, you're not going to find it.
Yeah, NECA seems to be the brand that is charging a more premium cost and like succeeding at it.
Yeah.
I think
they make really quality stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, it feels like with Super 7 is like tried to do the NECA bit and then it's not working.
Quality.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fascinating.
Okay, last two to go through is
McFarlane.
Our heavy hitters, which is McFarlane and Mattel.
Okay.
All right, so McFarlane on their list of things that are presently on the shelf includes Mortal Kombat Classics, which they're so about to be on the shelves. The DC Superpowers, which I do believe is dead. I think they ended the DC Superpowers. I could be wrong about that. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think the DC Superpowers died.
I haven't seen anything about that being dead, but I still see them around.
Yeah, because nobody bought them.
Okay. Interesting.
And then the DC Multiverse, which we do know is coming to an end. Here's the thing with the DC Multiverse in fall of 2025. They're the sickest figures being made. When we started this podcast in, July?
Mm-hmm.
We were like, F McFarlane. Like, if you listen to those first couple of episodes, their output in the last, I don't even know, 8 weeks, maybe a little bit longer than that, they finally started doing the version of the character in your head in a really quality version of it, and they're putting them out rapid fire. Like, they're sprinting to the finish line, and it's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Part of me wishes I hadn't just given up on them from the jump, but another
You
part
made the
of
right call.
Yeah,
You still
another
made the
part
right
of me is
call.
like, why didn't you just do this from the beginning?
Yeah.
Why'd you wait until the end to start being good? Like, consistently. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Why are we just now getting regular Superman and, like, like blue and yellow Batman? Like, why are you just now doing these things? But, man, they're showing off something cool almost every day.
Yeah, I think Toy Shiz on Instagram is a really good depiction of the market because it's always resharing what people are buying.
Yeah.
And McFarlane just happens to be probably one of the bigger things that is being reshared, that people are buying this. And I thought, okay, I'm not interested in it anymore because I'm like, all right, I offloaded all of them and then just was like, I don't really care about it anymore. And then it's like all these other people that are like, oh my God, I can't believe I found this. This is so awesome, whatever, So,
Yeah.
and I honestly, I've been to a couple Walmarts recently, have not seen any McFarlanes anywhere. So I don't know where they're at.
They're getting bought. Like, I see them arrive,
Okay.
and then I see them gone.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I have been compelled to go over, pick them up, investigate them, go, that's really cool. This, Batman and Robin, Two-Face or whatever looks amazing. And then I put it back on the shelf because I don't collect it. And then the next time I come back, it's not there.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, their output and their quality got to the point where we always wished it had been after it was too late. Which is kind of a bummer. Hopefully they'll pick up a license of something else that they can put this effort and quality into. Okay, lastly, but not leastly, Mattel. So just to kind of get it out of the way, Masters of the Universe. They've got the Origins line and the Masterverse line. That seems to be, it might have slowed down a little bit, but it was hot and heavy for a little while. I think it's really, really high quality. Masters of the Universe is another one of those things. Obsessed when I was a kid, just didn't bring it with me. I did watch the Netflix series that Kevin Smith did and loved it. I'm going to watch the movie. I do appreciate it. It doesn't quite cross the line for me into I have to collect that. But I do think the figures are really quality and they seem to move, and it's a top 5 property in this space. And I think that they're serving their fans the way that those fans want to be served. At least that's what it looks like to me. They've also got the TMNT crossover that's about to come out and all that kind of stuff. So they're doing big things. Last thing I want to talk about, and I'll probably end up having to go to the hospital with a brain aneurysm because I'm going to get so fired up on this, is Mattel's WWE lines. So you guys know if you've been following the podcast, if you're following us on Instagram at Mighty Champions, my main thing is the WWE figures. My main thing. I do collect the retro Hasbros, but the vast majority of what I collect is Mattel WWE. And they've been doing it for 12 or 13 years now. They just signed another 15-year contract. It's not going away anytime soon. They're some of the greatest figures ever made. And I want that to mean what I said. They're some of the greatest figures across all of toys ever made. And I mean that. They're not without their problems, though. And their most recent output has been really, really bad. You might get a figure that looks incredible, and then the legs won't move. Or the torso's frozen. Or you just straight up cannot find it. Because they are in bed with Wal-Mart, just like Hasbro is. The joy of hunting the Monday Night Wars figures, there's no joy. It's like the coolest line with no joy attached to it because of Walmart. You're either going to pay an extra $30 per figure on eBay, or you're not going to have it unless you live in certain areas. That's not fun. That's not even slightly fun. The Ultimates line started off as 2 figures at a time. Now it's like 3, 4, 5. Now it's 2 Ultimates here, 1 on Ringside Collectibles, plus the Logan Paul, plus the Cody Rhodes and his dog. Like, okay, so that's not a... You can't be a completist in that anymore, because those are $35 a piece. It has kind of lost the plot, like, a little bit. They're still put out a lot of really good stuff. Do I need Player 2 Blanca Ultimate Warrior to be a thing? I don't. I just really, really don't need that to be a thing. And you can buy what you want to buy and not buy what you don't want to buy. I get that. But when that is going on and I have to go to 19 Walmarts in order to get Great Muta, something is wrong. Something is off balance there. And then when you add in, when you do get the figure, the legs won't move, and you're the largest toy manufacturer on God's green earth, something's got to change. Like, and you know, I see this really long timeline. It's not always going to be perfect. We're in a down period that will come back up. I'm not bailing, but I do think that at this very moment, while we're doing the stock report, the Mattel WWE stock is down, and the product is high. They're putting out so much stuff. Like, when we do the news, I can't even keep up with it.
Yeah.
Because they're announcing wave after wave after wave after wave long into the future. For me, I don't collect current wrestlers. I should say I don't collect current WWE wrestlers. I do collect AEW, but I can't keep up with the amount of stuff that they're putting out. It's just like lopsided. They're doing what Marvel did. That's basically the best way to sum it up. They're doing what Marvel did, where the output is more than they can keep up with, and the quality has dipped because of it. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
You know, I listen to it week after week after week, and I'm just thankful that it's not my burden to bear.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's again, I'll reinforce it with the why. I'm like, all right, like I'm good. I'm not collecting. Well, I'm not collecting modern. It's just because it's like I see the pain that you go through daily, and I'm like, all right, like I'll take the other path.
Yeah, it's tough when your favorite thing is the hardest thing.
And it's really wild to me because what I was reading, the stat of like how collecting in general is going, $1 billion+. It's over $1 billion like industry, and some of the bigger names out there. Obviously, like Pokemon, and then like some other Mr. Beast type thing that I refuse to even talk about.
Yeah, I can refuse to care.
But it's like that type of stuff is like the thing that's soaring right
I don't
now.
know, and I refuse to learn.
Exactly. One thing that I thought was interesting, I meant to bring up probably like 2 episodes ago. Marvel Select went out of business.
Yeah, Diamond. I think Diamond sold to somebody else. I can't remember.
There were a War Machine and a Nihilus, and I think some other Marvel Select figure that was coming out that just never happened. And I was kind of bummed about that because I actually really like Marvel Select. I think they look really, really good. They are statuesque. They don't really move well, but they look really cool. So I'm curious of what that's going to do in the future, or if like their value is going to go up.
We'll have to follow up on the next episode. I remember there was a bidding war for Diamond, and all the major toy companies were participating, and I can't remember who bought it. But yeah, well, if you guys remember, get at us at Mighty Champions, let us know. But yeah, what is your thoughts and opinions on the current state of affairs in the toy industry? What are you hunting that's too hard? What are you hunting that's really easy? Which companies are serving you exactly the way that you want to be served? Let us know. We'd be happy to hear from you guys. And thank you for joining us. Make sure you subscribe and leave us a review, and we'll catch you guys down the road. Peace.
Ready for a bigger and badder Batmobile. But this time, it transforms into the huge Gotham City playset. With 9 battle action stations, Stop the runaway subway train. With an action zip line, you're ready to do some damage. And with a battle action ball, you can put criminals in their place. Crime never wins when Batman begins.
Transforming Gotham City playset. Adults assemble batteries and 5-inch figures not included.